I'm going to show you around the Revit file that I've given you guys. It has a lot of stuff that's set up already, but there's a lot of stuff that still needs to change and we need to add. And that's just part of the learning process for Revit, so we have to make sure that you know how to do some of these things that you maybe haven't done in the past, but you'll need to do in the future for a studio like Integrative Studio. The default 3D view that we jump into here, you can see there's a site file, and I've half-toned a lot of the elements, or I've overridden a lot of the graphics except for the lot. And the site itself is actually not selectable if you turn your select pinned elements off. So the site itself is it's a site model, so it's a site component, which I've imported the Rhino file into, and I've pinned it so that I can't move it and I can't change it. And you'll notice a couple different things between this site model and the site model that you have. If you type VV to get into your visibility graphics, this is where you're going to get into your layers that are imported from Rhino, by the way. Ignore this masking stuff. I should have spent more time deleting that, but this is what we have. So you could turn all of your context off, for instance, and we can apply it, and you can see that the rest of the context is gone. There is this lot below it, and this is what I'm calling the subterranean layer. So if I apply that, you can see that that goes away, and I can also turn off the lot. And what this, the reason why I did this is you might need to turn this off and recreate it in Rhino so that you can build a basement or some foundations without the site model interfering. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at what else we have in this file. Beyond the default 3D view, I've given you a 3D view with no context. We're in an northwest isometric here, an orthographic projection, and you can see that I've turned basically everything off. And so this is how you should operate in Revit, or one of the ways that you can operate in Revit that's particularly efficient. Instead of constantly turning on and off things, you have sort of a mode which shows everything, and then you have a more condensed mode which has less information but more pertinent information to just the model. And I have a couple views here that I've locked, so you can't change these. And you can unlock views by going down here and unlocking it, by the way. But now we can't necessarily rotate the screen or something, and that's because these two views, the Northwest ISO and the Southeast ISO, which I've already turned the buildings off for you, are on a sheet, and this sheet is an isometric. It's called Isometric Fuse. It's got two of these views on it. This is very close to your Rhino layout, and you can see that these are 1 inch equals 40 feet, and they're on 11 by 17 sheets of paper. And on this sheet, I've already sort of made a lot of the info for you, the title block. This title block is a parametric title block, so it should auto-populate for you. And it auto-populates by some of the stuff over here. So you can see that it was designed by, actually I need to change this to the author. That's me. And you can see that it will auto-change once you change all of your stuff over here. So the sheet is on the bottom right. That's a pretty typical standard so that you can scroll through the set very easily and see which sheet you need. We have the site and the date. You'll have to change the date by going over here and changing the sheet issue date. The isometric views contextual, you can see that that's the sheet name, which you can also change by right-clicking and going to rename, and it will auto-populate there. And then this is your program and your location, which you have to go into the let's see here, the project information, which is on the Manage tab. You can change the organization name to ARE 320K if that doesn't already auto-populate. You can put your name here under the author, and it should auto-populate the sheets as well. And then if you change your project address to wherever you are, you can actually have a list there, but your project name is going to be your program essentially. And so that's how you change it. You go ahead and go to Manage and Project Information and change the parameters here, and it should auto-populate from sheet to sheet. I've also given you a first floor plan, and this is a sheet with just the plan sort of located on it, and you can see that there's a scale that auto-populates here as well, so you can't fudge this. and if you change the size of the scale, you can see that auto changes as well. And of course, the name of the sheet is first floor plan. And again, I have to change this to author. The last sheet I have for you, and by the way, this first floor plan is cut at about 42 inches, about 3.5 feet above the ground. So when we start to build our building, it will sort of auto create a floor plan for you. And that's the beauty behind Revit, is that all of the drawings will update for you as you build your model, or as you change your model. I also have a site plan. So what this shows is the 4 buildings and the curb of the Capitol building, as well as the curb of the street behind it. So, the street to the west. So what we can see here is basically your building in context. And this is actually at a wrong scale. No, that's at the right scale. Sorry, 1 inch equals 40. So the floor plans are actually at 1 inch equals 20. So rather than stacking, many floor plans, we can duplicate this sheet. We can make new sheets with many floor plans kind of sequentially in order. So just to wrap up with the site file here, or the Revit file that we'll give you. Not everything is created, so we're gonna have to add some stuff in terms of annotations, and we need a north arrow, so we'll have to show you how to do that. I only have 2 levels for you, and you might have to change where the level is, like level 2. And I only have 2 corresponding ceiling plans as well. The elevations are also sort of taken care of, so I've sort of brought them down in an annotation crop, so you can see that if you turn your crop on here, it will change it to a sort of smaller version. And I've also half-toned the background, sort of the imported file. And now you can see here there's that sort of basement where we, the area where we can excavate and add a basement if we need to. But all of these are taken care of. And if you go to like the site plan, I do have elevation tags in here, but I've turned them off right now.